Hello folks, Stone Dog here, and this is going to be a response to one of the Vinerhymes videos. First off, you talk about God being made in the spirit, or man being made in the spiritual image of God. Well, unfortunately for you, the Bible just says God made us in His image. It doesn't really clarify whether it's a spiritual or physical one. So, you only have a partial argument there, because it's really up to interpretation. Although you would think that an all-powerful deity would think that, people would actually consider that it was a physical thing. You'd think he would clarify being all-knowing like that, but I digress. One of the other things that was talked about was the fact that the first law of thermodynamics says matter can't be created nor destroyed. I don't know if you really understood that. I'll kind of clarify it a little bit better. It really should be energy can be created nor destroyed, only transferred from one type to another, and that's including matter. If you look at Einstein's laws, basically matter is frozen energy, more or less. If you were to destroy matter, it would only just release energy. It wouldn't really destroy the energy that made up the matter originally. But a couple other things. One thing you said basically is God exists without being created. Basically, He's eternal, so He was never created, and He can't be destroyed. So He doesn't technically violate those laws. He's eternal, so He can't be created nor destroyed, although you would think an all-powerful God would be able to destroy Himself if He really saw fit to. Anyway, so basically you're saying something can't exist without being created. Now, you alluded to the fact that, before this universe, that law didn't necessarily apply, and I tend to agree with you. If this universe didn't always exist, although given the first law, there's a good chance that it did in some form or another, at least the energy contained within, you would think that if this universe didn't actually exist, that you might very well not have the laws of physics. And of course, nothing to stop matter from spontaneously generating. But so you've admitted this fact that God exists, but He wasn't created. So you've admitted fact A, that things can exist without being created. In fact, too, you were trying to allude to saying that, the watchmaker argument that things are so complicated that they look designed, so they must be. Well, did you ever think of applying that standard to God? I mean, think about it. He has to be arguably the most complex thing to have ever existed. So far more complicated than a mere physical body like ours, or even the entire universe, is probably very less complicated than God is. So wouldn't you think He would have to have a designer somewhere designing Him and His complexity? I don't think you would agree with that. So what you're basically admitting now is that things that look designed are not necessarily designed. So you admitted two things. One, things can exist without being created, and that not everything that looks designed is designed. Now, my question for you basically is, why would the most complex thing in the universe to ever exist be the only thing that exists eternally? Yet, simpler things like us, you're making the claim that our complexity shows that we must have a designer. Well, the designer must be more complex than us. So that would beg the question that he must have a designer, and that designer must obviously be more complex than his designer, and so on and so forth. You have an infinite regress, or you're basically admitting, well, something complex can exist without being designed. So explain to me, why is it that the first thing that's in existence? I've never understood that.